Portugal, a country where history intertwines with modernity, where the sun shines for over 300 days a year, and tastes, smells, and sounds tell thousands of stories. It is a country where every kilometer of road hides something extraordinary, from picturesque coastal routes to winding serpentines in the mountains. It is the perfect place for a motorcycle trip, combining the excitement of driving, spectacular views, and authentic culture. The morning at the campsite in Spain was crisp. The air smelled of the dampness of morning dew and the aroma of pine needles. The sun was just rising over the horizon, painting the sky with warm shades of orange and pink. The motorcycle engine roared with a pleasant purr, waking the travelers to life. Time to go. Portugal, a land of vineyards, serpentines, and wild nature, was ahead of us. The sunny weather didn't last long. A few minutes later, the rain became a good companion for our journey. Tough. Time to go. We cross the border, and the landscape changes slightly. The hills become more rugged, the towns picturesque, with white houses and red roofs. The N202 road winds through the vineyards. We stop for a moment at one of the roadside viewpoints. On the other side, we can still see Spain. We head northeast, choosing the N203 route, which takes us into the heart of the Peneda-Gerês National Park. As we enter the park, the road narrows, surrounded by steep slopes and dense forests. The serpentines require concentration, but the views compensate for every effort. On the sides stretch green hills, intersected by waterfalls and rushing streams. Every now and then, we pass animals grazing freely by the road. In the distance, we can hear the singing of birds looking for the sun's rays hidden behind rain clouds. As we left the Peneda-Gerês National Park, the N307 winds through picturesque hills and valleys, offering views that took our breath away. On the left, granite rocks covered in lush greenery appeared, and on the right, deep valleys with lazy rivers flowing through them. Every bend in this route was a new adventure. The narrow serpentines and wet asphalt required concentration, but the reward was the feeling of freedom that came with driving through the Portuguese landscape. Along the way, we passed small villages, stone houses, and old people sitting at wooden benches, greeting us with a raised hand. Our friends were supposed to join us in Braga. When we reached the meeting point, we saw them waiting by their motorcycles. The greetings were short and full of excitement. Ready to continue our journey? We set off with the whole group. The destination was clear, the Douro River region, where we planned to spend our first night on the route. The road led through vineyards that spread out on the hillsides like green terraces. The air was filled with the scent of vines, and a warm wind accompanied us on the ride. When we reached the river, the sky was already starting to turn shades of orange and pink. After a whole day of riding, a cold beer and the surrounding views were the perfect end to the day. The morning in the Douro River region was cool but promising. The rising sun painted the water gold, and the mist slowly lifted from the vineyard-covered hills. After a quick breakfast and coffee, we got on our motorbikes and headed southeast toward the Serra da Estrela, the highest mountain range in mainland Portugal. We chose the N232, one of the most scenic roads in the country. The asphalt rose higher and higher, taking us through winding switchbacks and dense forests. Traffic was minimal, and each straight allowed us to pick up speed and feel the real joy of driving. As the kilometers passed, the landscape began to change. Trees gave way to rugged rocks, and the temperature slowly dropped. We stopped for a moment at a viewpoint, from where there was a spectacular view of the valley. A few more bends, and we will climb even higher, into the very heart of Serra da Estrela, more kilometers of unforgettable road ahead of us. The ascent of Serra da Estrela is a real feast for motorcyclists. Picturesque, winding roads winding among rocky peaks, glacial valleys and villages where time seems to have stood still. All this makes every moment spent on these routes unforgettable. Each bend brought a new perspective, sometimes harsh, rocky slopes, other times green valleys and small, picturesque villages. It is not only the highest mountain range in continental Portugal, but also an area with a rich history dating back thousands of years. These mountains witnessed the Ice Age, inhabited by ancient peoples, and today they are one of the most important tourist and ecological regions in Portugal. The road climbed higher and higher, and with each successive switchback, the landscape opened up more and more. The Manteigas Valley diminished below, giving way to a rugged, rocky terrain. When we reached the junction with the N230 towards Covilhã, the road became even more demanding. The winding road leading to the top of Torre wound in front of us, now to the left, now to the right. Each change of direction was like dancing with the mountains. At one point, we stopped at one of the viewpoints to soak up the scenery. Before our eyes stretched the endless expanses of the Serra da Estrela, the highest mountain range in continental Portugal. White peaks loomed on the horizon, and below us were the serpentines of the road we had covered. We set off down the serpentine roads, passing charming villages with stone houses. The road was narrow but well maintained. Every now and then in the distance we would see pastures with sheep, and from the mountainsides, streams would flow down, merging into crystal clear rivers. It was a real paradise for a motorcyclist. Perfect bends, surrounded by mountain scenery, roads that gave a sense of freedom. We set off southwest, towards the coast. Our destination was Mira, a quiet and picturesque seaside village full of beautiful beaches. The route we had chosen was simple and full of excitement. The N230, one of the most scenic routes in Portugal, would take us through the mountains to the coast.
Tracing ghosts where truth begins. In the shadows we lose the light, chasing echoes through the night. With every twist the shadows call, mirrors crack, reflections stall. Hearts beat wild like untamed fire in this dance of dark desire. In the shadows we lose the light, chasing echoes through the night.
As we left the mountains, the road began to straighten out. The wind carried the smell of sea salt. The last bends on the N230 led towards Figueira da Foz, a popular seaside resort. The changing landscape made every kilometer of this road unique. Finally, after a few hours of driving, we reached Mira, a small seaside town known for its wide, golden beaches and calm Atlantic waters. It was the perfect destination for our trip. We stopped our motorbike at one of the beaches, taking off our helmets and feeling the warmth of the sea on our skin. We were in a place that offered a respite from the mountain serpentines, full of peace and relaxation. The beach was almost empty. Only a few people were walking along the shore. The third day of our motorcycle trip around Portugal promised to be exceptional. The morning in Miro greeted us with beautiful sunny weather, and the air smelled of the sea. The sun was rising above the horizon as we set off on our journey, following the picturesque coastal road. The wind was pleasantly blowing against our faces. Our first stop of the day was Praia Nova, a less frequented beach hidden between cliffs, which was enchanting in its charm. After parking our motorcycles, we walked along a narrow path leading to the golden sand. The ocean roared rhythmically, and the waves gently crashed against the shore. The sun reflected off the blue water, creating a real mosaic of lights. We took off our motorcycle jackets and for a moment enjoyed the peace of this place. A few people were walking in the distance, but we were mostly alone here. A moment of respite on Praia Nova was like a journey into another dimension. No rush, no noise, just us and the endless ocean. After a short rest, we returned to the bikes, ready for the rest of the route. There were still many kilometers of Portuguese coast ahead of us, many hidden corners and extraordinary places that were just waiting to be discovered. We put the gears in, started the engines, and set off towards new adventures, towards the next stops on this unforgettable journey. The next stop on the route was the town of Nazaré. Famous for its gigantic waves that attract surfers from all over the world, it tempted us with its unique atmosphere. After a short break, we set off again, heading towards Praia de Rei Cortiço. This wild, vast beach with rugged cliffs and vast dunes enchanted us with its natural beauty. The wind carried the scent of the ocean, and the crashing waves created a hypnotizing rhythm. After parking our motorbikes, we set off for a walk along the golden sand, enjoying the silence and space. This place, although less popular than the previous one, had an extraordinary magic of wildness and freedom. We spent a while here, drawing energy from the surrounding landscape, then jumped back on the motorbikes, ready for the next kilometers of an unforgettable journey. Then we went to the lighthouse in Peniche. As we approached the city, we felt the sea breeze and saw the rugged, rocky coast that surrounded this historic town. The lighthouse, majestically towering over the area, has been a symbol of navigation and safety for sailors for centuries. We stopped for a moment to admire the view of the endless ocean, where waves crashed against the cliffs with force. This place emanated peace, and at the same time reminded us of the power of the element that is the sea. Due to the evening, we gave up on Cabo de Roca and went to Lisbon for the night. After a whole day of driving and exploring the Portuguese coast, the capital welcomed us with its night glow, bustling streets, and the sounds of fado coming from atmospheric restaurants. The fourth day of our motorcycle trip around Portugal began in the heart of the country, in Lisbon. The sun was just starting to rise over the Tagus River when we started the engines and headed towards Cabo de Espichel. This is one of the most mysterious and picturesque places on the map of Portugal, full of legends, wind, and majestic cliffs. Cabo de Espichel is a cape on the southwestern tip of the Setúbal Peninsula, a place extraordinary and full of mysticism. High cliffs, reaching up to 150 meters, surround the harsh, almost desert landscape. On their edge stands the ancient sanctuary of Our Lady of Cabo de Espichel, Santuario de Nossa Senhora do Cabo, whose origins date back to the 14th century. It is here that pilgrims have come for centuries to pay homage to the Virgin Mary. One of the most famous legends tells of a miraculous apparition of the Virgin Mary. According to the story, a farmer saw a strange light on the cliff at night. Following it, he came across hoofprints of a mysterious animal that led straight to the place where the sanctuary currently stands. It was believed that these were the footprints of the divine mule, Pedra da Mua, which indicated the place of the apparition. The sun was already high in the sky, and we set off. Cabo de Espichel left an indelible impression on us, a place where history and nature intertwine in an extraordinary way. With full hearts and heads full of images, we returned to the route, ready for the next adventures of the Portuguese expedition. Our journey to the south of Portugal was slowly coming to an end. On the way, we visited Porto Palafita da Carrasqueira, an extraordinary fishing village located in the Sado estuary. This place is distinguished by its wooden jetties that wind over the water, creating a labyrinth supporting small huts and fishing boats. It looks like a scene from another era, austere but full of charm. Walking along the footbridges, we could feel the atmosphere of the traditional life of fishermen who have used these jetties to moor their boats for generations. The last stop on our journey was Praia do Malhão, one of the most beautiful beaches in southern Portugal, hidden among wild dunes and surrounded by cliffs. The sand here is golden and soft, and the Atlantic waves break on the shore at a rhythmic, hypnotizing pace. Looking out at the ocean, we felt that our trip had come to an end in the best possible way. Praia do Malhão, with its wildness and peace, was a beautiful finale to our journey. With our heads full of memories and hearts filled with gratitude for those days spent on Portuguese roads, we knew we would come back here someday. This is the end of our adventure. If you liked our motorcycle adventure in Portugal, subscribe to our channel to follow our next trips. See you on the road!